Adventure Time, Elden Ring. These are a few of my favorite things. When I say Adventure Time is my favorite show, that is me telling the truth. The sense of awe and wonder that the show brings me is just unmatched. Its combination of a breathtaking world that constantly surprises you, charming and relatable characters, and lore that I surprisingly care about creates, in my opinion, one of the greatest cartoons ever made. When I watch Adventure Time, I feel like I'm discovering this world and all its crazy ass shit right alongside Finn. This show really makes you feel like Batman. And I felt proud of Finn as I watched him grow throughout the show, not only in his ability to beat the shit out of any badass witch, demon, zombie thing he encounters,
it's chill,
but also in his wisdom and maturity. The Finn that you're introduced to in the first episode is not the same person that you see in the last episode, in the best way possible. And this is because he's been through and overcame a lot of shit. Now, I've always been a sensitive little boy, so when Finn sang "I'm all gummed up inside," it hit every emotion that I needed to be hit. It was, But besides me being a little drama queen, there's also this badass video game-like journey that Finn and Jake go on through this epic, beautiful, and often terrifying world. Now, in season 1, there's a lot of action and a lot of moments where the stakes do seem high. Like Princess Bubblegum getting her heart ripped out by this thing. But as the show progresses, the stakes get higher and higher to the point where they're like fighting gods and saving the universe from extinction and shit. And as I reminisce on my time watching this show, I cannot help but think, how cool would it be if they made a video game for this show? I know they already have some, but I mean like a good one. I mean like a AAA open world one. Not to say AAA games are exactly good anymore nowadays. But one full of the show's kingdoms, dungeons, crazy-ass creatures to fight. And as you slowly discover this amazing open world, the Land of Oo, you find stronger and stronger enemies to fight, but you level up too. You get stronger, you find better gear, and maybe they could add a horse named Torin. Elden Ring is the closest a video game has came to making me feel like I am in the world of Adventure Time. And if I had a nickel for every time I tried to have a lucid dream, specifically to go into the Adventure Time universe, I would be the richest man in Embarrassment Town. Now, granted, Elden Ring is extremely lacking in the story and character department compared to Adventure Time, but the game and the world gives me the exact same sense of awe and wonder that I love so much about Adventure Time. Discovering this jaw-dropping world where you never know what's around the next corner is just mwah. Maybe it's this little building that you find in the forest that, when entered, takes you on a 70-second long elevator ride under the map just to reveal this beautiful underground city that's so huge it has its own night sky full of stars. Or maybe it's this dumbass lobster that pops out of the ground and one-shots you. What the fuck? And as you further explore and go deeper into this beautiful world and keep leveling up, you're gonna encounter more badass enemies to wave your plus 15 Nagakiba dick at, barring a few. Now, admittedly, I'm only about 42 hours into this game, which means two things. One, I've yet to fight Sergeant Dickhead when he has his pal Captain Dickhead with him, aka the Godskin Duo, aka the Foreskin Twins, which may entirely change my opinion of this game, we shall see. And B, I just can't form a complete opinion on this game yet. Now, from what I've heard, the late game does get a bit shaky in terms of balancing issues and overall quality, to say the least.
Total fucking horseshit.
But from what I've experienced so far, which is basically everything before getting into the capital, it is one of my favorite games I've ever played. And once upon a time, about 2 weeks ago, I was sitting and pondering, as I tend to do, and I came up with an idea that I just could not ignore. What if we took the skeleton of Elden Ring, the way its world, systems, gameplay, and enemies work, and slapped Adventure Time skin on it? I'm talking map, characters, items, lore, the whole MF, mother freaking enchilada. Now, besides that being terrifying imagery, I really FW frick with this idea. Now imagine with me, if you would, that you just downloaded this game and press play. Boom, you're instantly in the Candy Kingdom graveyard playing as Finn, fighting off the zombies just like the first episode. But just like in Elden Ring, these zombies are so stupidly hard to fight that you're expected to die here. And then you get woken up in the treehouse by Jake. He tells you what happened, calls you a virgin, and then you get to explore the treehouse, which would basically be this game's hub. Maybe you fight a little tutorial goblin in the basement that's trying to steal your treasure, but the moment you're ready, you open the front door and walk out to reveal the Land of Oo. And it's a moment very similar to when you open up the Stranded Graveyard door to reveal Limgrave. You see rolling green hills in front of you, you see the Candy Kingdom off in the distance, you see the Fire Kingdom even further back, and then you turn to your right and you see this giant Ice Kingdom. And it's closer than any of the other points of interest, so you head towards it. You fight your way up this giant, snowy, icy mountain, killing penguins and snow golems and stuff, and then when you finally make it to the top, boom, first boss of the game. The Ice King. And when you finally beat the Ice King, the Ice Kingdom will be fully explorable. Maybe you can go into the Chamber of Frozen Blades where you can learn some ice sorceries. Now that is me just giving a very brief example of what this game could be. I could keep going about how the Candy Kingdom could basically be this game's version of Landel, about how the Wizard City could be the place where you learn about sorceries and incantations, how the Grass Sword would be a stupidly broken weapon, and how there's so many cool random little locations from episodes that they could add to the show, like Marceline's Cave, some of the dungeons, the Infinity Loop Train, Lemongrab's Kingdom, the City of Thieves, and a lot of these kingdoms and bigger areas could act as legacy dungeons, just as they did in Elden Ring. Ah, it would be so cool! And I know, this is just me ranting about my nerdy fantasy video game idea, but imagine how cool the boss fights would be. I mean, boom, right off the bat, you got the Ice King, the Lich, you could fight Marceline when you first meet her, Hunt and Abadir, Gold, the Magic Man, Fern, the creepy-ass deer thing from that horrifying episode, which could totally have his own dungeon under the Candy Kingdom. I'm just gonna cut myself off before I keep ranting about how many cool area-specific enemies there already are in the show. And that's sort of the point of this video. This show already has everything that you need for this game to be made. Every boss, enemy, and the whole map are already there. Just take that juicy, sexy ass, oh my gosh, you are so nasty, skeleton of Elden Ring, and reskin it with Adventure Time in the most loving and high effort way possible. Now, for obvious reasons, they would not be able to include every freaking location and every freaking person and every freaking freak that Adventure Time has into this game. So I'm not saying you need to add every little nook and cranny from every single random season 6 episode of Adventure Time into there. But Elden Ring is huge. So if this game was just the same size as Elden Ring, perfect. And I genuinely think that this would be one of the coolest games ever made if executed properly. And the more that I think about ways you could combine the world of Adventure Time with the formula of Elden Ring, the more that I pray to sweet Lord Baby Godric, the grafted Roderick, that this can happen. And of course I had to look up if anyone else has had this idea, and I did find a Reddit thread. And I was so excited about it that I left the only comment that I have ever left on a Reddit thread. And to spare you from the hours and hours of rambling I could totally do in this video, I'm just gonna ask if anyone is as big of a fan of these two amazing pieces of entertainment as I am. Please comment any ideas that you would have for this game, because I would love to see what other people who probably know a lot more about Adventure Time and Elden Ring than me could come up with. Why I'm so passionate about this, I do not know, but thank you for listening to my 1 parts nerd, 3 parts complete crackhead pitch, and goodbye.